the one thing which I consider the most important thing for your daily practice. And I haven't taught this before in public. I taught it to individuals. And I don't know, somehow I felt that it was too important to teach to a group of people. So I'm not going to teach you the whole thing anyway. But most of it will go over, okay? And, you know, I've been trying to practice Buddhism for 25 years or something. Lived with Kinrinpoche for that, all those years. Studied at Sarah. Finished all those courses. You know, did all the debating. Did something like 15 tantric retreats. But this is the most important thing I've found yet, okay? And this is to me the most precious thing I can give to a person, okay? So, almost. So, you know, if you can appreciate it, then do it. And if not, it's okay. But if you don't, it's a big loss. This is, to me, out of all the years I've been practicing, the most precious thing I've learned, okay? Almost. So, anyway, this is called, we call it confession book. I don't know if that's such a good name for it. But to me, this is the most important part of daily practice, okay? I want to teach you how to use one. All right? It's very, very, I think if you know how to use this well, you'll be happy in this life. And you will also achieve your wildest wishes. You know, if you know how to do this book, and if you keep it well, you will achieve everything you dreamed of, and much more in this life. Okay? Really, seriously. So just do it and find out, you know. This is not a philosophy class. There's no Tibetan reading here. You know, it's just, I'm telling you, if you keep this book nicely, the way I'm going to talk about it tonight, you'll be happy and things will happen to you that you never dreamed of. If you don't keep it, nothing will happen. It's okay. All right? If you keep it for a while and quit, then little thing will happen, and then not much else happens. And if you keep it for a while and quit, and then start it again, and then keep it for a longer while, and then quit again, and then start it again, and then keep it for a longer while, and then quit, and then start it again, you'll be doing just what I did. And it still works pretty good. The idea is that I think in AA they call it inventory. This is like an inventory book. And what it means is that a certain number of times during the day, we're talking daily practice here, you check yourself. You check what you're doing, and you actually write it down. So every 2-3 hours I'm stopping, and I'm pulling out this book from my huge briefcase and writing something in it. Okay, so I want to show you what to write, and I don't have much more to say about it. The proof is in the pudding. You know, if you try it and you do it, things will happen that you never dreamed of. And if you don't try it, it's okay. I'm sure there are people in this room for whom this is not the time yet. You know, and I understand that, and that's fine. But if you think you might be ready to do it, then do it. And it's very, very cool. So first you go out and buy a blank book like that. Okay, it doesn't matter. Buy a nice one. And keep it nicely. I like to think this is more precious than a Bible. You know what I mean? This is more precious than a sutra or something. This is more precious than the Heart Sutra. This is really going to get me enlightened. So for me, I keep it wrapped in a nice cloth. Tessie you still have your one? She's good for those cloths. And I just keep it like it's a holy book, because for me it's the good book, right? For me it's that. And this is from many, many years of experience. This is developed this way. Okay. I have like the left side, you know, the left side and the right side. And the left side I divide like that. By the way, when you get to the highest teachings of Buddhism, the very, very highest, welcome back, Amy Krantz. How are you? Wow. When you get to the highest teachings of Buddhism, you're actually required to do something very similar to this. Okay, like you can do this before that. All right. I divide the left side into 6. Right side gets into like this. Something like that. Okay. And then I start writing my vows. Okay. This is basically checking your life against the rules. Okay, the rules of Buddhism. There are certain rules of Buddhism. If you're a Buddhist, you've already got some that you've already committed yourself to. If you've taken lay vows, you have more. So if you're just a normal old Buddhist, you've already committed yourself to something like 12 refuge vows, and we'll go through that. If you're a lay person with lifetime vows, you have 5 more. If you're a lay person with, if you're a Geitsul, a novice, you have 37 more, 36. If you're a Geloma, you have 12 more. If you're a Bhikshu, you have 253 more. If you're a female monk, you have 364. 364 more. And then we're going to go through that. But basically, this is checking your promises that you made. Okay? It doesn't matter who you are in this room, you've made some promises to keep certain kinds of behavior. If you're just a Buddhist, you've already committed to doing certain refuge vows. So what I do is I number them. I happen to have 484 different commitments. Seriously. Okay? If you have taken Vajrayana initiation, you have 253 less than that if you're not a monk. Okay? If you don't have ordination vows, which means you have something like 230 different commitments that you're supposed to be checking. Tunduk. Okay? And how do you do that? I'm just stating, this is a practical way after 25 years. This is how it's ended up for me. Okay? So I put them like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And let's say you're just a lay person. You haven't taken any ordination vows. You haven't taken bodhisattva vows. You haven't taken secret vows. All you want to do is be a good Buddhist. So at least you're supposed to keep away from what?
Killing.
The 10 non-virtues, okay? The 10 non-virtues. At least, minimum. Okay, what are they? First one's killing. Taking life. Second one is stealing. Sexual misconduct. Third one is lying. Fifth one is divisive talk. Sixth one is harsh words. These are the basic 6, okay? I mean, I stop 6 times during the day and check my vows. This is all personal practice stuff, okay? This is daily practice. 6 times during the day, as I am required by my higher vows, I stop. I try, okay? Normally before I meditate, before I eat, something like that, I stop. Get out this book, keep it with you. It'll become your friend. I mean, I like to see, and I do see students at Cooper Square Diner, you know, they sit down to have a talk and somebody's pulling out their book and they're spending 2 minutes first and doing their book. It's beautiful. It's really nice to see. And those people know their vows backwards and forwards. You know, they're always talking about their vows. Instead of talking about other people. Okay? It's very interesting. To me, this is sweet, sweet success, you know. I had a sponsor who gave us $1 million for 10 years of work, and they said, what's the best thing your institute has done? I said, I know 3 students in my institute who don't have jealousy that they used to have. And they're like, is that what you did with your money? And I said, yeah, that's what I do. You know, that's worth that money. That's worth it. That's what life is for. If you could pay somebody to get rid of their mental afflictions, that would be great. It's worth it. It's well worth it. And then after a while, they were like, yeah, that's cool. 3 people who used to be really jealous of each other, and who should be jealous of each other, just don't have it anymore. And that's like, I think there should be a Dharma museum in New York. I think those kind of things should be put up there, you know, the names of the people and their pictures, you know. You know, the kind of jealousy they used to have, maybe a video of them, you know. And then, you know, clean up the jealousy, you know, like overcome the jealousy. Really. So it comes from that book. I see people carrying around. It's the sweetest thing to me. I don't give a damn if you know Tibetan verbs, okay? If I see you carrying around this book and using it, I know you're going to get enlightened, or at least very happy in this life. I feel comfortable that if you died, I did my best. You know what I mean? I mean, I feel that this class is, we're worth something, okay? If I see people doing that, okay? And I won't feel bad if you die, you know? I feel like I did the best I could, and I'll feel like, you know, you did what you were supposed to do. I can't think of, you know, if you died, and I know you were doing your book, I would feel okay. I do negative plus, this pen is the email pen. Negative, plus, and then to do, okay, for each one. So, like at breakfast. By the way, at breakfast you're loading your book. You know, I'm over at Cooper Square at 8 o'clock loading my book, you know, putting in the vows for today. I have it on the computer. Right? And I'll go over it with you roughly, and then if anyone seriously wants to do it, I'll give you a copy. Okay? But, so for taking life, now here's the trick, okay? You gotta listen. This is the important part. This is really the important part. Something specific in the last 24 hours. Okay? Something specific in the last 24 hours when you almost hurt someone else's life. Okay? Like, did you stab somebody in the last 24 hours? No. You know, did you murder anybody? No. But did you maybe have did you spend a night with someone and maybe get close to getting pregnant and maybe could have had an abortion and killed somebody? Which is exactly the same thing. Maybe, you know, and you have to think about those things. That's one that counts, you know, or something close, you know. Did you take care of an elderly person you know who needs some kind of medicine, you know? Did you help him? Like I can think of Ken Rinpoche, you know, he has to take his injections. Did I help him? Or it must be something in the last 24 hours you did that might have hurt someone else. Driving crazy down the road, okay, something like that. Just anything, come up with anything, all right? But it has to be specific, something that really, really happened. And sometimes they get really weird, you know, like I stayed up too late. It means I might have got sick, I might have got worse sick, I might have had a heart attack, I might have died. Taking life. You see what I mean? But that's fine. Get something that relates, no matter how far away it is, but something specific. This all sentient beings crap is crap. Okay? Forget it. Sentient beings is the people right around you. You can't do these monumental, make-believe, fantasy things for 10 zillion beings on 40 zillion planets. Forget it. It's the people right around you, and it's the little things that you do around you. It's the little things, okay? What did you do in the last 24 hours that might have risked someone's life? Or risked any harm to someone, physically, okay? Then you fill it in here. Like, didn't take vitamins, okay? I don't know where Christy was supposed to give me. Okay.
How about thoughts?
Thoughts are great. Thoughts are great. Thoughts are really the more important ones, you know? Was irritated with the roaches in my house. Seriously. Because that leads to getting angry, and that leads to losing your joy that you're supposed to maintain, or whatever it was. And that leads to thinking about it, and that leads to deciding, well, this is too much. We've got to get rid of these things now. You know what I mean? Anything close, but something specific. This is the key to happiness. I swear to God. Okay? Really. All right? It really is. Something specific.
But you say it's close. I mean, you get angry at the roach, but you don't kill it. You have no intention of killing it, but you say it's close.
Oh, it's close. It's very close. It's too close. Just let your mind make associations. If you didn't kill anybody, did you risk anybody's life? If you didn't risk anybody's life, did you maybe hurt somebody? Did you maybe say something to somebody that might hurt their health or something? You know what I mean? Like, find something. You'll find something, okay? Some of them are hard, like some of them are weird, okay? Like, what was the one I had? I had some weird monk spells recently that I'm doing, and those are hard to find, you know? Like, did I leave the mats out in the summer retreat for more than 2 hours when a rainstorm might have been coming from the east, you know? No, but I didn't clean the bathroom in the monks' quarters, you know what I mean? And that's the same thing. You see, you have to find something similar. Okay. Positive, what? Talked about abortion to the class. Okay? Mentioned abortion. Which is, by the way, I think the closest you can get in this society to killing. Okay? Very dangerous. What should I do? And this is some kind of specific action, even if it's small. Even if it's a tiny little thing, you know. I will take a vitamin when I leave this class. Okay? All right, we'll take it. By the way, I'm also a sentient being, right? It's wrong to commit suicide, and it's right to take care of my health also. I'm a sentient being. And I have a lot more to say about protecting my life than most other people's lives. So I should take care of it. That counts, okay? So that I have negative, closest I came to doing something wrong. Positive, closest I came to the opposite, protecting life. To do something I need to do, specific, very specific, even if it's small, even if it's like take a vitamin after this class. Take a vitamin in the next half hour. You know, that's fine. This is how morality works. Morality works on the fine points. Morality makes you happy on the fine points. We call it what? Low-level radiation. This is low-level, I don't know, what do you call the opposite? This is low-level exercise, I don't know. This is the opposite. I mean, if you want to get to heaven, if you want paradise, if you want to have all these experiences that you read about in the book, Milarepa meeting, you know, holy tantric deities coming into his room and singing tantric songs and grabbing him and hugging him and flying into the air, you know, this is where it comes from. Swear to God. You know, this is where it all comes from. This is the only place it comes from. You know, where did you think? What did you think? You know, someone was going to come down and give you a pill or something? You know, this is where it comes from. This is really where it comes from. It will happen to you. You can see it. It will come. But you have to work on the small things. This is the key. They never told you that in school, you know. You can fly in the air. You can meet angels, you know. You can go to heaven. But it's these little stuff here. You just have to do this. It's very cool. It's not that hard. Okay, stealing, I don't have to go on, okay? You know how it's going to work. What's the closest I came to breaking it? I talked on the phone at work on my boss's time. I'm getting paid for that. And it's like stealing from him. It's the same thing. It's really the same thing, okay?
What about if the boss approves?
If the boss approves and likes it, it's a different thing, okay? I'm not saying, it depends on each person's circumstance. But very typically, you have to look for the small things. That's what's killing you. That's why angels don't come in your room and take you away. Seriously. It's these little things that are killing you. You didn't go and rob a bank yesterday. You know that. You know, you don't cheat on your taxes too much, okay? Not so much that you get caught or anything. It's not those big things. It's the little tiny things that keep you out of paradise. It's the little tiny things that keep you from having these incredible experiences. Really. And you have to stop them. And that's what this is for. And that's what Tunduk is. I mean, Tunduk is done. Tunduk is exactly that and nothing more. Okay? Talk on the phone. Positive. Took care of somebody's money. Like asked, I did it today. Asked for the water. I was in a restaurant. Somebody wasn't drinking their water. And I was really thirsty. Mine was already gone. But I asked them. You know, I said, are you going to drink this water? And they said, no, you can have it. That's how you see angels. Swear to God. Okay, or soul or doc, whatever. And, but this is how it happens, okay? This is how you get there. I really mean it. Everybody in this room would like to fly, you know? Everybody would like to sit in meditation and go up into the air, you know? Everybody would like to see these great, you know, these beings come in the room. Who cares about these paintings? You know? I'm tired of paintings, okay? It's just paper. It's just, you know, it's just paint. Let's go for the real thing, really. This is it. Really. Okay? This is where it comes from, and that's the only place how you're going to get there. That's the only way. Keep it and find out. You know, keep it and enjoy. You'll see. It'll happen. Okay. What should I do? Don't say stop talking on the phone, because you know you're not going to do that. Then you just created a lie. Then you'll have something to fill in here, right? Say no more this afternoon. Or next time, well, I won't say. So-and-so calls, I won't answer the phone. Okay, so won't talk on the phone this afternoon. Not talking about tomorrow. Tomorrow I may start again. Okay? And that's it, really. That's it. It's as simple as that. It doesn't take 12 ACI courses, right? This is really the bottom line. This is all you really need to know. Yeah.
Would you give another example of a positive or sneering?
Anything respecting another person's property, like I'll tell you when I comes up in my book, using the other monk's towels. Especially when I don't have mine and I'm already wet, or other people's shampoo in the shower. I mean, this is the things that come up for me. Or this is not our house. This house belongs to Leon. If I leave the light on, I've stolen from him. He's paying electricity, stuff like that. It sounds dumb, it doesn't sound like these holy, mystical experiences. You want to get there, this is the way. I really mean it. I'm dead serious. This is where happiness comes from. And if you keep these, all the scriptures say, your meditation will explode. The reason your meditation is not clean now is that there are minor, low-level radiation bad deeds on your conscience. You wipe those out, you do this for a while, your meditation will take off. Extraordinary things will happen. How come they didn't happen to you yet? It's this low-level radiation. Really, it keeps you down. That's what keeps you down, okay? All right. Over here, I personally have to do a monk's vow every day. So if you have, I call it M60 or M61 or, I got 253 of them. And if you're an ordained person, I spend, if it's one of the big ones, like not one of the last 112, then I spend a whole day on it. If it's, the 112 are like wearing your robe like that and having this hanging out, and those I do like 4 or 5 at a time, because those are not so hard. But like killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, that's different. Monk's vow. Next thing here, meditation. I track my meditation every day. Personally, I do 1 hour in the morning and a half hour in the PM. And I write it down. Where was I? Who did I do it with? Did I really do 60 minutes? How did it go? And I actually write it down every day. And I carry around my cushion. No matter where I am, I have that cushion and my alarm clock. Period. Okay? Doesn't matter where I am. I have the cushion and the alarm clock. It's a pain in the ass to carry it around. But then you're always faced with it. It's always staring at you. It's in the cab with you. It's in the bus with you. It's in the plane with you, this thing, It's banging all the other people. And it's heavy. But I never forget it. It means you make a commitment like that. Keep it around with you. And every day you check your meditation. Did you do your meditation? And then you start screwing around, you start doing it at 6:30 in the morning, in the evening, and this when you start doing it 2 o'clock in the okay, gotta start before noon. Okay? I made myself another rule, before noon. Start before noon. So usually it's like 11:45, right? And this one has to start before 10:30. Start after 10:30, forget it. You're already a vegetable. At least I am. I don't get any progress in my meditation if I start later. Personally, okay. Meditation. Last thing I do before I go to sleep, I do top 3, good and bad. By the way, Buddhism, it's always, what's a Buddhist church going to have in addition to the confessionals? There's going to be a rejoicing. Okay? Because in Buddhism, it's as important to rejoice in what you did right as it is to confess what you did wrong. There's no such thing in Buddhism as confessing something without rejoicing in the opposite. Okay? You must rejoice. That's why everything here is plus and negative. Okay? So I take the worst 3 things I did. The best 3 are on the left. Okay? This is important.
You added the sadhana practice on the meditation line?
It's assumed. It's assumed.
It's assumed.
Could we put the air on? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you put it on? Really? And I'll just try to talk loud, okay? Is that all right? You prefer it cool and noisy, right? We'll try. Question, talk loud.
Is the hour, when you say it's assumed, you mean it's included in the hour or it's not included?
For me, it's not included in the hour. If I don't do an hour of pure meditation a day, deep meditation, I'm not going to... Okay? Okay? Don't count... It doesn't count the bowls. It doesn't count cleaning the room. It doesn't count fixing the altar. It doesn't count getting seated down. It doesn't count the 10 minutes of the last 10 minutes where I start thinking about breakfast. Okay. Okay. Does this pick up anyway? Hook it up. Hook it up. Leave it like that. I'll talk loud. Doesn't count the preliminaries. You don't see emptiness because you did preliminaries. I mean, you do, but I mean, it's got to be an hour. Okay, yeah.
It's because the city's so noisy, you know. They said it's best to meditate at nighttime.
He said cities so noisy it's better to meditate at night. I find the morning is quiet, early morning, and then evening also. Some people work at night. I remember Janet Diamond said she always starts hers at 3 a.m. because she works at 9. So that's fine. I'm not talking like that. Okay. Best on the left, worst on the right. Oh, so to recapitulate, boy, I can't believe we didn't get that.
I got it. It was
Ambient. Okay. Worst on right. I do the top 3 good deeds of the day and the top 3 worst deeds of the day, okay? Most of the time, frankly, it's mental, all right? Like my big shtick this month has been jealousy, you know? It's always over here. Usually 3 different versions at 3 different people, okay? And then over here is all the best fights I had with it, you know, like caught myself being jealous at 9:55, at so-and-so, over this, you know, and it's important to get it exact. It has to be exact. One short confession of one tiny thought is worth all of the, oh, I confess all the bad deeds I ever did, you know. That doesn't work so good, okay? One sincere confession of one specific thought you have is worth all the other ones, okay? Even if it's a small thought. And I tell you again, everything you ever dreamed of will happen. You will meet these deities, you will go to heaven, extraordinary things will happen. You have to, but if you don't do it, it won't happen. Yeah?
Under the vow section, do you retake your vows during that time?
No, you don't retake them. You're just reviewing them. And you're not, in Tunduk, by the way, you're required to go through, if you're a fully ordained monk with a higher yoga, Anatara yoga initiation, you have 484 different commitments. You're required to check them 6 times a day. That's like 2,700 checkings in 24 hours. That's 100, that's 1 per minute. I tried it once in retreat. I got up at 3:30 a.m. I worked until 11 p.m. I couldn't do it once, you know what I mean? What I'm saying is that at 9 o'clock you check this one. At 11 o'clock you check this one. At 1 o'clock you check this one. At 3 o'clock you check this one, like that. Then before you go to bed, just before you jump in bed, you're checking these 3, top 3, because maybe I didn't get to jealousy that day. Maybe it didn't come up that day, but it was in my mind all day long. I better write it down. So at the end of the day, your top 3 best ones and your top 3 worst ones, okay? That's the road to heaven, okay? That's the staircase. That's the key. That's the method to get enlightened in this life. Really, okay? I don't know if I should have taught you that. No, it's very holy. I don't like to teach things that are too holy if I think they're not going to keep them. But just try it. Extraordinary things will happen. And this is required if you have a Vajragini initiation. You're required to do these things, okay? Why? Because it works, okay? Just try it. If you never tried it, you'll never know, okay? It's like one of those things. I'm going to go through the commitments that you have. I'm not going to go through each commitment. I'm just going to tell you, oh, there's 12 of these, there's 10 of these, okay? And then if you have that commitment, you better find out what those vows are, okay? We have a printout of everything up to the tantric vows, okay? So if you want any part of it, talk to me or I think Aura has it, talk to Tessie. We'll print it out for you, okay? It's custom printed. You know, like if you have your layman's vows or if you have just bodhisattva vows or what, we'll print it for you, okay? I'm just going to tell you what you're supposed to be covering. You keep rotating. You keep rotating. So second day it's 7 through 12. Third day it's 13 through 18 or whatever. Okay? Okay, if you took refuge, which means if you're a Buddhist at all, you took refuge, okay? Then you have 12 different commitments. You have 12 different commitments that you've already taken. You've sworn to keep them for the rest of your life, okay? You should be checking them daily, okay? What it means is everyone in this room is going to end up with at least like 30 or 40 or 50. And it means 6 will be done the first day, 6 will be done the second day, then you'll get back to it 5 days later or something like that, okay? I'll give you some examples of refuge commitments, but I'm not going to go through all of them. The first one is once you've taken refuge in the Buddha, you can't take refuge in worldly things like money or your job or your wife, okay, or music or things like that, okay? Once you've taken refuge in the Buddha. Does that mean you can't have a job or money or wife or music? No. But you can't put all your trust and hope in them, okay? Because they'll leave you, okay? Always. They always leave, okay? They will deceive you. Sooner or later they all go away, okay? Don't take refuge in them. Have them, enjoy them, use them well. Use them for other people. But don't take refuge in them. That's the first commitment. What would be a negative? What would be a very common negative? Took refuge in worldly things. Tiny, small. Thought it was more important to get to work on time than to finish my hour of meditation. Thought it was more important to get to work on time than finish my last 10 minutes of meditation. Very common. That's worldly refuge. You just broke your first refuge commitment. Okay? Seriously. Those are the small ones.
But what if you get fired from class?
What happens if you die on the way to work? No. The bottom line is get up earlier. Okay. You can have your cake and eat it too. Okay. Positive. Felt like going out. Wanted to go out. Or let's make it easier. Was having a very interesting conversation with one of my friends. Even a Dharma conversation. Or was doing the reading for the students. And couldn't do my meditation. And felt like I could cancel the meditation and keep working on the reading, and then stop myself and said, wait a minute, that's stupid. Let them not have a reading tonight. Finish your meditation, Then that's taking refuge. So I can write that down in the positive. So what do I do tomorrow? To do? Get up 10 minutes earlier. I was once on an elevator, and all these people were rushing in and fighting each other to get in the elevator. This is one of those 47th Street elevators that, doesn't work very well, and it serves 50 people when it's supposed to serve 10. And there's this old man there, and he watches everybody jamming in, jamming out, fighting, pushing buttons. And we get in, and the door closes. And he says, "Listen, all of you, I just want to say, you should get up 10 minutes earlier, and then you wouldn't have to fight on the elevator." So it's like that, okay? That's a very typical. Okay, another refuge commitment. Consider any representation of the Buddha, regardless of the quality of its artistry or material, as though it were the Buddha himself. Like once you've taken refuge, you have to treat these pictures as if they were the Buddha themselves. Are they the Buddha? No. Does the Buddha hide behind that cloth? No. Does he even look like that? No. Okay. I mean, the Buddha walks in this room, boom, light flowing all over the place. Incredible radiations, beautiful smells, incredible sounds, not like this paper, okay? But once you've taken refuge, you have to treat them with respect, okay? So what? What did I do negative? I do it all the time. Didn't clean my altar. Those poor Buddhas are getting like this scum on their head, Right? Very true. I'm speaking the truth, right? Positive way. I took out a picture of Ken Rinpoche and enjoyed it for 5 minutes during lunch, okay? Said, boy, he's a great Lama. That's fine. That's like positive. Then what should I do? Clean my altar tomorrow. Get up 10 minutes earlier, right? Clean the altar a little bit. That means I have to go to bed earlier. Okay, those are typical refuge commitments. I'm not going to go through all of them, but every person in this room who's a Buddhist is supposed to be reviewing those things, okay? And that's 2 days worth, right? You could do the first 6 on Monday, you could do the second 6 on Tuesday. Okay. Now you do your if you're just a regular old person without any other vows, it's 10, right? Killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive speech, harsh words, idle gossip, craving, ill will, and wrong view. Okay? And it should be like that. You know what I mean? Because you're checking it all the time. If you don't check it, you can come to these classes forever. Nothing will happen. Trust me, okay? If you come to these classes for 5, 10 years, and you figure out the truth about these classes, it all comes down to this. It all comes down to this. You don't have to have 10 certificates. You can just have that book, that little book that you carry around, and you'll get to the same result, okay? So keep those 10, no matter who you are in this room, whether you have vows or not. If you claim to be a Buddhist, you're supposed to be checking these 10 every day, okay? Must be checking, yeah.
As far as the book goes, the left side I thought the left side was 10, but now this section...
No, I'm just using the space on the board.
Okay, so these will then rotate on
Yeah.
the left side.
So now every person in this room has 22 commitments. If you're a Buddhist at all, if you think you're a Buddhist, you already have 22 commitments, whether you know it or not. You're supposed to be checking these 22 things, okay? Yeah.
And then, so what's on the right side, as you said, the monk's vows, what are those, what's...
Oh, I just myself, I got so many monk's vows that I rotate them in separately. So you could cancel that. You could cancel that section, all right? Just if I have 253 vows, that would take up 4 months of work. I would never get to review my tantric vows or other stuff. Okay. By the way, if you have layman's vows, add 5, right? If you have novice vows, 36. Excuse me? I didn't catch it. What did he say? Oh, yeah. He asked a very good question. A lot of those 10 morality vows also appear in the layman's vows. They also appear in your bodhisattva vows. They also appear in your tantric vows. Each one is a different vow. Okay? And you have to check them separately. That's a good point. That's a good point. Okay? 36, if you're a intermediate nun. 12 more. If you're a full nun, 364 more. If you're a full monk, 253 more. Take your pick, okay? All right? I never want to see a person who says they're going to Michael Roach's classes, and somebody says, do you have any initiations? You say, yeah. And you say, well, how many vows do you have? I don't know. What are your vows? I don't know. Well, what are your bodhisattva vows? I don't know. Then why are you taking initiation? What's the point? That's the point of the initiation. It's the honor of keeping the vows, okay? It's the privilege of keeping those vows, you know? That's the whole idea. That's the whole point. They don't work unless you keep your vows. They don't work unless you know your vows and check them every day. They just don't work. You can take 1,000 initiations. Absolutely nothing will happen, you know?
How many bodhisattva vows are there?
Here we go. How many root vows? 18. First bodhisattva vow, Dr. Shela Mapadam. What's that? Doctor. Praising yourself. Example. I'll give an example. You tell me if it's good. I'm angry at somebody else. So I criticize them, some weak point that they have, like they tend to talk too much. Now me, I don't talk like that. Okay? I don't talk too much. I don't engage in useless talk like they do. Okay? Is that a good example for the first bodhisattva vow? No, why? Yeah, good. There's another praising yourself vow that comes in the secondary vows, which is out of anger or out of other motivations. This one has to be what? Dharma jealousy. Dharma jealousy has to be, okay? That teacher on 64th Street, he doesn't teach us. I mean, you could go if you want. I'm not stopping you, you know. But I've already praised myself, right? Got to be careful about that one, okay? Specific, and these you have to learn your vows. Your vows are very subtle, very beautiful. I heard this great Nyingma monk say one time, Western, Mathieu Ricard, great monk. He said, somebody asked him, don't you feel restricted keeping all those monk's vows? He said, you're crazy. It's like liberation, you know. It's so fun. It's so wonderful. You keep them. You know what happens. You get all these wonderful things happening to you. It's like being let out of jail. You know, he was exactly the opposite. I mean, the more you know your vows, the more you keep them, you just get more and more happy. It's freaky. Incredible things start happening to you. Unbelievable things start happening to you. Really, weird stuff. You know, all kinds of neat stuff. I can't go into it, okay? Secondary. How many? 46. I'll give you an example. I'm just checking one by at random, okay? Failing to assist someone who needs help to get to some location, okay? So like today, I knew somebody needed my help with a car, but maybe I didn't respond fast enough, okay? That would be negative. Positive, after I felt guilty enough, I called them and said I would rent a car for them, you know? What should I have done, could have done? What should I do in the future, you know? Try to watch out for foreigners trying to get away. You know those Germans who stand in the subway with the map upside down and you know, stop and try to help them or something, okay? That's a bodhisattva. You have a bodhisattva. If you see a Japanese standing in the subway with a subway map upside down, you're supposed to stop and help them. That's a bodhisattva vow, okay? That's a vow. You took a vow, okay? If anyone in this room has any tantric initiation, you are required by your vows to stop and help those weird foreign people who've got those maps upside down walking around. You are required to. And if you don't know it and you don't do it, you'll never have those mystical experiences. Swear to God, okay? Really. Really. This is what makes them happen. Really, okay? Stop and help them. Could be Vajrayogini, just in disguise, you know? Probably is. Is that all the bodhisattva vows? You got all these other commitments. If you took any tantric initiation, you not only have 64 bodhisattva vows, you got all these other commitments, okay? These are commitments that concern the wish. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. I see 9 here. By the way, numbers not really fixed. These are like, I'll give you an example. Discriminating between people, liking some people and disliking other people. Woo! Okay? I mean, that's a vow. If you ever took any tantric initiation, you have sworn that you won't do this anymore. Okay? Failing to think of other people as you eat anything or wear anything. Okay? You broke a bodhisattva commitment. I mean, when you put on your clothes in the morning, you're supposed to think, hundreds of people have worked on these clothes, you know? Like, hundreds of people around the world have sweated, toiled. People have worked so that I can wear these clothes. Now, I'm going to do something good today in these clothes, you know? I'm going to help people. I'm going to study. These are going to keep me warm for the whole day. And I'm going to do something meaningful with them. And if you don't think that when you put your clothes on in the morning, you broke a bodhisattva vow. It's interesting, okay? And it, you know, so it's dangerous to go take these initiations, these weekend initiations. I mean, you're in for a lot of stuff, okay? People don't even know, okay? And when you don't keep them, what happens? The worst thing of all, which is what? Nothing, okay? The worst thing of all, I think it's the worst punishment of all, is that you take a tantric initiation and you actually try to keep it and nothing happens. And then your faith just starts to dissolve. After a week, after a month, after 6 months, you start to say, what's the use of reciting this 2-hour thing? Nothing's happening, you know, because you don't know your vows and you're not keeping them. If you keep them, all these incredible things will happen, really, okay? Black and white deeds. One, 2, 3, 4, 8. I'll give you an example. Vow number 140 for me, okay, and for any of you who has ever taken Bodhisattva vows, you have all these. So for you, 140, which is day number, what is that? 27. Like the 26th or 27th day after you start this stuff, you'll reach this vow. Okay, got it? Get it? Okay, what is the vow? Failing to conceive of every other living being as the Buddha himself, and failing to see all beings and all things in this world as totally pure. You're under vows to think that way. Okay? You have a vow to think that way. A bodhisattva vow. Okay? Number 140. All right? You have to know these vows. You have to learn them. That could get you a long way towards stopping low-level radiation right there. Right? Okay. How many bodhisattva stuff in general? 81. It's a lot. Am I right? 64, 70, yeah. Okay. I didn't catch it. What did he say? Oh, no, that was just a ceremony to commit to the wish. This is the action. These vows are the activity. The other thing is the theory, this is the practice. We did a ceremony for the theory. I would not give bodhisattva vows unless you bust your ass and learn them first. Okay, and that's a long story. It takes about 15 days of hard work to learn them properly. Okay. I'm going to go through the secret vows, not in detail. I'm just going to tell you how many you have, all right? If you have taken an initiation. And you have to go to the person who gave you the initiation and get an explanation, because that's their job. That is their unique responsibility. If you've taken initiation from somebody, they must be in a position to explain these vows to you slowly, carefully, nicely. Otherwise, don't take them, okay? Period. 4. $33. Lamangap chakaptam gyawai pomo nam gyan sushin sung, says the root text. Okay? You have to keep the 33 commitments that are found in the 50 verses on Guru Yoga. Okay? If you have ever taken any kind of tantric initiation, you are most likely bound to these already. 33 different commitments regarding your Lama. All right? $14 root vows. Okay. Ten what are called serious offenses. You can count this in different ways. You can get up to like 23, 20, 22, 23, okay? But basically you have 19 different commitments to the Buddhas of the 5 classes. If you don't know what they are, don't worry about it. You're not supposed to know, okay? It's 25. What are called mother vows? 8. If you don't know what they are, don't worry. You're not supposed to. Okay? Why did they make up all these rules? Were they just trying to give you a hard time? No. If you can keep them fairly well, not even perfectly, if you know them and keep them fairly well, you can go to paradise in this life. And an angel will come in your room one night, will grab you by the hands, and will take you to paradise. Period. Okay? Period. What's the option? Get old and die. Seriously. 2 options. You either get out now, or you get old and die. And then who knows what will happen. Don't be so naive as to think that what happened once can't happen again. Given that time is infinite, you could be born again. Don't be so stupid as to think if it could happen once, it couldn't happen twice in infinite amount of years. Come on. Okay? B, don't be so stupid as to think this is the only world that people live on. Okay? Don't be so stupid. The universe is infinite. There's infinite places you could go. So, A, you got to go somewhere. B, who knows what it's going to be like. Buddhism says they're mostly very, very, very frightening, very horrible. Okay? You don't have to believe me. You have to be a stupid not to understand that the odds are infinite to 1 that you have to go somewhere. The odds are infinite to 1 that it might be worse than this place. Why take a chance? You know, go to heaven now. Okay? You can only do it by keeping these vows. Okay? That's the only way you're ever going to do it. Really. That's why they exist. Okay? An enlightened being said, look, you guys are too stupid to figure this out on your own. Keep these, you'll make it. Don't worry about it. Just keep them. Just take care of these things. Keep it in your book. Check it 6 times a day. You don't have to worry anymore. Okay, really, I tell you this, you do not have to worry about dying if you keep your book, period. Okay? You won't get in trouble. You won't have a bad time. If you keep your book sincerely, you can die happily. Okay? You can die in an accident, you can die tonight, and you can die well. And you don't have to worry that something bad's going to happen. You must keep your book. Okay? Yeah. in the whole place. Like, if Mrs. Smith's ring is late, we know that we have to go to this guy in room number 456 and ask him what's going on at 9 o'clock in the morning. We know where her ring is. And so we can define that in this room, let's say the setting room, where they put the diamond in the ring, there's all these defects coming out. So we found out that the best way to threaten these people, if there's defects coming out of the room, we just go in and we don't say anything negative. We go in and we say, could you count how many defects are coming out of your room every day? You know, we don't say anything negative. We just say, please, here's a piece of paper, here's a pen. Could you count how many defects are coming out of this room every day? And what happens to the number of defects? It goes like that, you know. It's really weird. Just by watching it, they drop. Because you get embarrassed, you know. You start to get embarrassed. So what I'm saying is 90% of the task is to monitor yourself, is to monitor your behavior. 90% of Buddhists fail to reach enlightenment. 90% of Buddhists fail to meditate properly. 90% of Buddhists fail to meet a tantric angel in this life. Why? Because they didn't even check. They didn't keep the book. They don't even know what their goddamn vows are. You know, 90% of the people. Go talk to the 5,000 people who took the Kala Chakra initiation. You know, see how many people know what their vows. See how many people can even tell you how many vows there are. You know, it doesn't work if you don't keep them. You can't keep them if you don't know them. If you track them, the other thing is you'll start to learn them very, very, very well. And the sweetest thing in my ear is when I hear people saying, they start to gossip about something and they go, and somebody says, oh, go ahead, tell me, you know, and they're like, no, I got to write that in my book. Let's talk about something else, you know. It's the sweetest thing in my ear, you know. The sweetest thing in the world is to see a Buddhist, an educated Buddhist, halfway through collecting a new bad karma and then stopping. You know, it's fantastic. That's success. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to be such a hypocrite to keep writing them down and not do anything about it. You know, really. Really. I mean, what's fun, by the way, is to go back and read your book from a month ago. Jealous at this person, jealous at this person, jealous at this person, jealous at this person, you know. And you're reading some kind of crazy person's diary, you know. And then you realize it's yourself, you know. It's really funny. You know, you can track it. You know, you can see who's causing your problem, you know. It's very, very beautiful. It's very powerful. It works. It really works. I can't, you know, we'll go ahead and we'll do a few more years of philosophy. But this is worth all of it. This is the bottom line, you know. And make it specific. Some tiny thought that you really had. By the way, don't make up bullshit either. You know, I almost said this to somebody, but did you really? You know, I mean, also people tend to do that. Don't do that, okay? People get to this vow and they think, well, I got to write something, and they make up something rather than thinking carefully. And don't make it general. Oh, I get jealous a lot nowadays. Come on, how are you going to fix that? We want to know what time. We want to know what person. We want to know what it was about, you know, something specific. Otherwise, it doesn't work. It won't work, okay? It has to be very, very specific, okay? And when you write your meditation down, it has to be 28 minutes with these two people sitting in the student lounge. It went pretty well, you know, like that. It's like that. And it works. It really works, okay? Daily book, yeah.
If you catch yourself, you know, doing something wrong, specific to a certain vow, you like shift your 6 or your
I do that. I put it in the last 3 at the end of the day. I put it in my top 3 it's a very good question. I put it in my top 3 in my, you know, then I get it like that. Did you have a question, Ilya? Loud.
Yeah, what if you, there's one more that you keep not being able to keep, I mean, I like to repeat it then.
It goes in the top 3 for me.
Okay.
You know, it goes in the top 3. That's normally the case, by the way. Okay? Yeah. Loud. Right. Yeah. It's a really nice question. She said, suppose I'm a new Buddhist, you know, I haven't taken refuge vows yet. I haven't taken bodhisattva vows yet. Can I go ahead and track them anyway? As you said, the secret vows you cannot. Okay? You're not allowed to know what they are until you take an initiation. But all the other ones you are encouraged to keep, like bodhisattva vows, you're encouraged to learn them ahead of time. And you're encouraged to try to keep them. Okay, monks' vows, legally you're not supposed to learn them in advance. Ken Rinpoche taught them to me in advance and said, try to keep them and see how you do, you know. And that's okay. But yeah, absolutely. Anybody in this room can track the 10 non-virtuous. Anybody in this room can practice the 12 refuge vows, just for the heck of it. Anybody in this room can do the 64 plus bodhisattva vows and just try to get used to them. And then when you're used to them, you can take them. And that's wonderful. That's great. That's no problem. How are you going to learn them? I don't know. I think we should put maybe we should put a sheet around or something. What do you think? Yeah? Let's just start it around right now. We'll start a sheet around. Name, address, phone number, and then which of these are you buying into? You know, which of these have you already taken? Okay, I am not going to do secret vows. You go to the person who gave you your initiation.
Can we write just 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah. Yeah, let's say you write 1, 2, 3, and then 4 you have to go to the person who gave you your initiation. Okay? Yeah. I can't hear you. Yeah. Oh, okay. Jay asked, is there a separate ceremony for the refuge commitments? Yeah. When you become a Buddhist and you take refuge, you agree to these 12, you know, and there's a ceremony. And that ceremony makes you a Buddhist. You know, when you have refuge. That's okay. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all. But I would like to do these like every 6 months, like 1, 2, and 3. I can see doing them. I can see doing these 2 every 6 months for a new crop of people, you know. And we can have a refuge ceremony and a lifetime layman's vows. If you don't intend to become a monk or nun, but you want to make some more serious commitment, you can take lifetime layman's vows. No killing a human being. No stealing something of value. No adultery with someone else's undivorced, unestranged, totally connected spouse. No lying about your spiritual life. No taking alcohol or drugs. That's not such a big deal. Anybody can do that. And you can take that. You know? So I think we'll try to do that every 6 months. I think we'll try to do a round, say, in October. And we'll try to do one more round of refuge vows and these vows. Bodhisattva vows I could see doing maybe once a year, because it's a lot of work to learn them. Okay, and it takes a special training to learn them. Okay, you must have these vows to take tantric vows. Okay. Yeah. She said, how are these different? Layman's lifetime vows are these 5 vows. No killing a human, no stealing something of value, no sexual misconduct in the form of adultery, no lying about your spiritual life, and no alcohol or drugs. These are like, yeah, very similar. But these are from the top 10. These are here. Everybody in this room has to keep these 10, period. On top of that, you can take 5 where you actually you swear to keep 5 of them very strictly for the rest of your life. And that's beyond that. 5 of them are repeated from here, but they are separate vows for you. They're separate things to check. Yeah. Oh, if you're a bodhisattva, you might want to pay him anyway. Really? Okay. By the way, what do you got to lose if you pay him anyway? You're going to get all that money back and more. According to Buddhism, this is where money comes from. Get used to thinking that way. Don't think you're giving up $50. You just made yourself about $1,000. Seriously. And if you don't think so, you don't understand Buddhism. You know, you want to get money, give it away. You know, no problem. As much money as you want. Money does not come from anywhere else. Okay? Lots of people work hard and don't make money. Lots of people invest smartly and lose money. Okay? It doesn't have anything to do with that. You got to give it away. Yeah.
There's a new book called Perfect Conduct. Does that talk about, that?
Don't know the book. Don't know the book. Sounds good.
Is there any book that you know of that does talk about in general?
We've done a class. There's a course. And we very, very carefully, we translated the Bodhisattva vows. from Asanga, from Maitreya, and from Geshe Tsewan Samduk. And these are the ultimate.
Is that a course?
Sorry. Yeah.
What number?
7. Okay? Bodhisattva vows. It's very, very important to learn them well. Okay? Yeah. I got a whole shelf. In fact, I'm afraid someone's going to find them someday. There's a ceremony, a tantric ceremony. I'll tell you anyway. It's secret, right? You take all the sesame seed, and you get a big metal container, and you pour in all this ghee, right? And you throw in all this sesame seed, and then you throw in your book. Then you take a match and say, "God damn you," and you throw a match in there, and it goes. It's really neat. That would be cool. You know? No, I mean all those bad deeds. You just say, you know, you spit on them. Why do you, in these tantric pictures? Why do you think they're always stamping on those guys? You know, it's like spitting on your bad deeds. They are your bad deeds, and they're not some. Buddhism doesn't believe there's some ugly monster like that. Those deities are going like, you know, stamping out roaches. You know, and yeah, you should spit on your bad deeds. You know, you should tell them to go to hell, and you should take that book and you should burn it. You know, I like to keep them because I like to see if I've improved in the last 5 years. You know? And by the way, improvement is hard. Real progress in this stuff is not like learning Tibetan pronunciation. You know, this stuff is hard. If you can make progress in this in 10 years, you're doing great. Okay? If your jealousy gets 10% less in 3 years, you're doing a wonderful job. This is hard. This stuff is really, really hard. You know, and don't get discouraged. I saw a cartoon. The guy says, "Hey, Tessa, you've been meditating 20 years. Are you better than you were when you started?" And she says, "No, not at all." And they say, "Well, why are you meditating then?" He says, "Can you imagine how bad I would have been if I wasn't meditating?" Really. It's very hard to make progress, and this is the big time. This is the most important thing. Very, very hard to make progress. So don't get discouraged. I mean, if you just stop a few jealousies during the day, you made great progress. You know, that's a great deed. That's a Mahatma, okay, like that. That's all I have. Yeah. 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 Al said, what if the vows overlap? Like, yeah, like lying, for example, comes up here, comes up here, comes up here, comes up here. You make it separate entries. Separate entries. Yeah. By the way, to cycle through this takes about, for me, it's about a year, you know. It's about 2.5 months for me to cycle through my vows. And that's okay. And by the way, after about a year, you will know your vows perfectly. And you will live by them. Every time you think of doing something, don't think of them as restrictions. Think of them as liberation. You know, if you keep them, they'll make you very, very happy. Unbelievable things will happen. Just try it. Okay, great, unbelievable things will happen. Wonderful. I can't tell you what will happen. It's just extraordinary things will happen to you. Okay, yeah.
I got a question. When I go to the rituals class on 7 o'clock in the morning, Monday and Wednesday, and have all these statues of power and whatnot. And occasionally I'm one of these giddy moves where they say, "My old buddy, old pal," that I prostrate with. If you're not getting moved like that, is that a misdeed?
In general, if you watch, I'll say, watch the behavior of high lamas. You know, watch how the Dalai Lama acts. Watch how Ken Rinpoche acts. They have a lot of affection for their deities, you know. They're like, they will say sweet, tender, happy things to their deities, you know, and that's fine. That's fine. Should not be disrespectful. But I'd say it's much worse to say Om Tari Tutari Turi Soha and not believe in that deity. You know, I'd say that's 10 times worse. To say her prayer and in your mind think, oh, she's just a metal thing. You know, Tara is here. She's made of metal. She's got a problem. She's a dwarf. You know, she's only this high. You know, that's that's a really bad deed. To me, that's a horrible sin to think that this picture is deity, you know what I mean? But if you're like, hi, you know, I tried to do my best last night, I didn't do very well. But if you have this affection for them and this belief in them, then I'd say you're not very far wrong. I think you're doing great, you know, all right? Okay, so we'll stop there, all right? We'll do a prayer. Try to get this, try to get your name. Where's that list now? Where'd it go? I don't know. Okay.
A couple pieces of paper downstairs in the student lounge on the sort of burgundy counter. So everybody who wants it, they can just put their name and address on it. It will take a while for the sheet to get around. So just make sure you write it down there after the class.
Yeah.
And, you know, which
Yeah, do you want 1 or 2 or 3? I mean, 4 I'm not giving, okay? 4 you go to your tantric master, but the first 3. Okay.
And, maybe I can put my phone number down if nobody, if somebody doesn't know.
What's your phone number?
Well,
What's your phone number?
or just, yeah, or you can call me if you don't get a chance to write your name down, you're both or something. It's 212 477 It's Cora.
Okay. Please do it, you know. It's not, you know, we're kind of rushing and someone's going to leave because they have to catch a bus and they're not going to write their name down. Please don't do that. You know, take your time, okay? Maybe we should stay here for a while. I can tell some jokes. Nigel, you know. Please don't leave if you, no, Marvin, it's okay. Okay, one Marvin joke. Did you hear about the guy who was reciting the Heart Sutra and got a coronary? Yeah, okay. It's very serious, okay? Try to, if you think you might do it, do it. Now, one warning. You'll keep your book very well for a week. Then you'll get busy and you'll forget. Just go back and keep doing it, you know what I mean? Okay, you lost a few days. Then go back and do it. Or you'll start kidding yourself. You'll do 6 of them at 9 o'clock at night. You know, don't do that, okay? It doesn't work. I don't say it works. I say 6 times a day, 2 or 3 hours apart. Make it your constant companion. I see ACI students at Cooper Square with that thing under their arm. I love it. You know, I really love it. I know then that something's happening, you know. And those are the people who are happiest. And those are the people who it's working. What's that? I don't bother because usually I don't have that much time. I do keep the date because I like to go back, you know, 3 years later and see how I'm doing. It's very very interesting to read them, a few months later, okay? But I can't teach you anything holier than that, and I almost didn't want to teach it because then you think you heard it before, you know, and I have not taught it publicly, but this is how it works. This is the bottom line. If you keep this, you'll be happy.